Hi, this is Sammy. We're going to continue with Math 10. And we have just finished linear systems. Now we're heading into polynomials. So polynomials, this is a whole chapter. We start off with adding and subtracting monomials, and then polynomials. And after that, we head into factoring as well. But this is where we're going to start. So adding and subtracting monomials. Now, what's a monomial? So if I write 5x squared, this is a one thing. Since it's one thing, we call it monomial. How about if I write 5x squared minus 4? Then here we have what we call two terms. So this is one term, this is two terms. This is term 1, this is term 2. And we call this a binomial. And of course, if we write 5x squared maybe plus 6x minus 7, this has three terms. That's term 1, this is term 2, this is term 3. And we call this a trinomial. Anything bigger than that, we just call it polynomial. Now, monomials, just looking at monomials right now, and the monomials, they have a variable. So the x, we call it a variable. And the 5, we call it a coefficient. And this is the exponent on the x. Now here, when it's a binomial like this, x is the variable, 5 is the coefficient. But when you have a number by itself, we call that the constant. And this here, the x is a variable, this is the leading coefficient, this is the coefficient of x, and this 7. So we have two different coefficients here for the degree 2 and the degree 1. The x squared here, because it's 2, we call it degree 2, and here there's a 1 on top of the x, we call this degree 1. So we have two coefficients, but this is the leading coefficient. The leading coefficient is always on the variable with the highest exponent. And this is still the constant. Okay. But not to worry about this too much. What we're going to get into here is a bit different, but it's definitely, eventually, we got to understand how this works as well. So let's go to adding and subtracting monomials. How do we add them and subtract them? When we're adding and subtracting monomials, what we have to look for, we have to look for like terms. What are like terms? Any term here that has an x in it, this and this, we call them like terms. So what we do, we just underline them the same way. So we put a solid line here, solid straight line under this. But this has a y and a y, so these here are like terms. It's like saying 3 oranges minus 1 orange, and this is, let's say, 5 bananas, or minus 5 bananas adding 2 bananas. So this is basically how we identify like terms. So anything with an x, these are called like terms. Anything with a y, these are called like terms. Which means I could add the 3x and the negative x here. So I could go 3x minus 1x. So jump, you go 3x, jump over, don't look at the sign, look at the sign here. 3x, jump over minus x, that will give me 2x. 3x minus 1x will give me 2x. And then these are like terms, the y. So I go negative 5, jump over here, negative 5 plus 2, that gives me negative 3y. And this is the answer for this one. So just make sure you're solid with your integers. You don't want to be making mistakes with your integers here, adding and subtracting integers. Now, how about this one here? So again, we got to look for like terms. So anything that has an m, I'm going to put a solid line underneath it. And I have the other thing that has n. So this, I'm going to put a wiggly line underneath it. So to just to identify them as like terms. So I have 19m jump over here plus 11m, that gives me 30m. And then I have negative 4n minus 17n, that's negative 21n plus 9n, that gives me negative 12n. Now we go here. Now in this one here, you notice this m has a square on top of it, and this m doesn't. So these wouldn't be like terms because they are not the same degree. This is a degree 2, this is a degree 1. Therefore, the like terms here will be this and this. And then the m's here and the m's here, because that's 6m and that's 13m. And then this is the constant, so it doesn't have any variables, and there's a 2 that doesn't have any variables. These will call them like terms as well. So I just put a kind of hat and flipped hat underneath. So now I go negative 8m squared, jump over here because these are like terms right here. So negative 8m squared plus 3m, that will give me negative 5m squared. And now 6m minus 13m, that will give me negative 7m. And then I have the negative 9 jump over, negative 9 plus 2 is negative 7. I think some students sometimes get confused. They go negative 9 and they look at the sign here minus, they think it's minus 2. No, you don't. This sign belongs to the 13m. So because these are like terms, I go negative 9m, jump to there, and then plus 2. Negative 9 plus 2, and that gives me negative 7. How about here? So here, as you notice, this has AB in it. So AB, anything else has AB here? Yes, this one here. Anything else? No. Now I look at the other thing. This here has AC in it. So I'm going to put a wiggly line. Anything that has AC in here? Yes, this has AC. So I'm going to put a wiggly line. And then we're going to put the hand on top of this and on top of this because both of them are BC. All right. So now I go 4AB plus, because this is the like term with it, 4AB plus 6AB, that gives me 10AB. And then I go negative 7AC, and this is the wiggly line here. So negative 7AC, jump over, and then minus 3AC, that will give me minus 10AC. And then the hat here is negative 5BC, jump over here, negative 5BC, jump over here, minus 1BC, that gives me negative 6BC. And that's how we add and subtract monomials. Now let's go to the next thing. Now we're adding and subtracting polynomials. So here, because we put brackets around this, this is, we call it a binomial, add a binomial. But if you look here in the brackets, we have 3 things. So that's a trinomial minus a trinomial. And how we do that? Now, if we look at the first one, because the sign between the brackets here is a plus, then those brackets here are useless. You could just get rid of them. So it becomes 6a plus 9, and then plus 4a minus 5. Collect like terms. So these two are like terms, and this is the hat right here. So 6a plus 4a is 10a plus 9 minus 5. Sorry, I forgot to put the a there. So 9 minus 5 is plus 4. How about here? Here, the first brackets don't need it at all. So I'm just going to write 3m squared plus 4. But this brackets now, because there's a minus in front of this brackets is very important. Here, if we didn't write the brackets, we'll still get the same thing. But here, this brackets here, and the negative in front of it, the negative is going to change every sign inside here. So the 7 is positive now, the negative is going to make it -7. And the negative and the positive here, this negative is going to change this positive to negative. So this becomes -9m squared. When we have a negative in front of the brackets, we call it a sign changer. So it goes inside and changes all the signs inside. Now, when it's like this, I could collect like terms here and here, then maybe a wiggly line here and there. So 3m squared minus 9m squared gives me -6m squared. And +4 minus 7, so 4 minus 7 gives me -3. And you better be good with your integers from grade 8, 9, and maybe even 7 in some schools. Now here we have a trinomial minus a trinomial. As I said, the brackets here, even though they write them right there, they don't change anything. So you don't even need these brackets. You could just write x squared minus 5x plus 6y. But when you have a negative and then brackets after, that's a sign changer. So what you do, you make the 4x squared negative 4x squared. The plus 15x becomes minus 15x. And then the -11y becomes plus 11y. So as again, when you have a negative in front of the brackets, it's a sign changer. So you go on the inside there and change all the signs. And that's what we did. Now, like terms, sorry, I forgot to write the square there. So this and this are like terms. This and this are like terms. And then these two are like terms. So 1x squared jump over minus 4x squared gives me -3x squared. And then we have the -5x jump over minus 15x. That's going to give me -20x. And then the 6y jump over plus 11y, that gives me plus 17y. Let's go to the next question. Again, this brackets is meaningless, so I'm just going to write this as 4x squared minus 7x plus 3. Also, when it's a plus and then the brackets after it, don't need to change anything. So just plus x squared minus 5x plus 9. Get rid of the brackets without changing anything. But here it's the negative is a sign changer. So that becomes -8x squared minus 6x plus 11. As you notice, we changed all the signs inside here. Now let's collect like terms, the 4x squared, the positive x squared, and the -8x squared. And then wiggly line under anything that has an x in it. And then we just put a little hat on the constants. Constant is a number that doesn't have a variable. So now let's start doing this. 4x squared minus 8x squared. Remember, jump over, okay? 4x squared minus 8x squared gives me -4x squared. And then -7x. Hold on a second. Let me go back. We have we have 3 like terms here. So we go 4x squared plus 1x squared is 5x squared. 5x squared minus 8x squared is -3x squared. And again, for the x's here, -7x, jump over minus 5x, that's -12x. -12x minus 6x is -18x. And now the constant is 3 plus 9 is 12. 12 plus 11 is 23, so plus 23. Guys. And we'll go to the next thing. Now multiplying monomials and polynomials and then adding like terms after that, okay? So this is when you have a coefficient or you have a number or a number and a variable that we'll do later. You have a number in front of the brackets. You don't only multiply the negative and you multiply all the -9 inside here. So what we do what we call distribution. So we distribute this here, we distribute it here, we distribute it here. How do we distribute it? Is by multiplying it inside. So -9 times -5 is 45, because negative times negative is positive, and you still have the m squared. And -9 times +7 is -63, and you still have the m. And negative 9 times negative 3 is plus 27. And here, when you look at this, you don't have any like terms, so you cannot get any further than this. This is your final answer. Now let's look at this. And here, the 7 gets only distributed into the brackets. These brackets here mean the 7 is only distributed here. It has nothing to do with this. And that's the purpose of the brackets. So the brackets mean the 7 is multiplied in all inside the brackets. So 7 times 5 is 35x. And then I have my minus. 7 times 3y is 21y. And then I have minus 40x in here that I don't touch. It's not affected by the 7. These are like terms. This doesn't have a like term to it. So 35 minus 40 is negative 5x minus 21y. You still have to write the minus 20y at the end, and this is your final answer. Now here, we got to distribute the negative 8x squared into here and to here. Okay, so negative 8x squared times 5x, negative 8 times 5 is negative 40. X squared times x, this x has a 1 on top of it. And you remember, when we multiply variables, we add their exponents. So this becomes x to the power of 3. And then negative times positive here is going to change that to negative. Negative 8 times positive 7 is negative 56. So we're just going to write negative 56. And x squared times y, just x squared y. Can we do anything here? No, we can't. We don't have any like terms. How about this one right here? Here, we distribute the 5 into here and to there, because the brackets here, it means the 5 affects both of these. And this brackets here mean the 2 affects all of these. So the 2 is going to be distributed here and here. And when you distribute, make sure you multiply. You don't add. So you multiply the 5 into here and to here. 5 times x, just 5x. 5 times 2 is 10, so plus 10. And then 2 times x is 2x. And 2 times negative 6 is minus 12. Here we have like terms. So this and this, we have to add them. And this are like terms, so we have to add them. So 5 plus 2 is 7x. So 5x plus 2x is 7x. 10 minus 12 is negative 2. And that's the final answer for this. Now, how about here? Here, we distribute the 3 into here, into here, into here. So that's a monomial times a trinomial. There's 3 things inside. So I have to multiply the 3 in all the 3 things inside. Also, I multiply the negative 6 and all the 3 things inside. That's what the brackets is for. If I close the brackets here, for instance, you only multiply it here and there. But because everything here is inside the brackets and the negative 6 in front of all of that, so the negative 6 has to be multiplied in all of them. And after that, you collect like terms. So 3 times 2a is 6a. 3 times 10b is plus 30. B. Minus 3 times 2c is minus 6c. Negative 6 times a is negative 6a. Remember, that's the negatives are sign change. Negative 6 times negative 2b is plus 12b. And negative 6 times positive 5c is minus 30c. Collect like terms. So 6a minus 6a is 0, because they cancel out. 3b plus, 30b plus 12b is 42b. And negative 6c minus 30c is negative 36c. As we're doing this, even teachers sometimes, they make silly mistakes. So if you notice any mistake that's been made when we multiplied or something like that, just make sure in the comments section there, just put a comment there and say, you have made a mistake in question number 5 or whatever, you know. Hopefully we don't make any mistakes, but anyone is susceptible to making mistakes when you start adding a lot of terms and so on. Okay, so now this is the last bit that we're gonna do with this before we go to the next section, and that's gonna be multiplying monomials and multiplying monomials, multiplying binomials, and so on. Yeah. So let's deal with this here. we have the 7x has to be multiplied into here and to here. This here doesn't get multiplied by anything, just doesn't have any brackets around it, just it's a loner, so it's just there, and it's gonna stay there the way it is. But the negative 2y has to be multiplied into here and to here. So 7x times x squared is 7x cubed. As I said, when you multiply variables that are the same, you add their exponents, and the 7x has a 1 on top of it there. So 1 plus 2 is 3. 7x times negative y squared is just negative 7x y squared. And then that loner there is negative 2xy. We're just going to write it as negative 2xy. Now, negative 2y times x squared is negative 2yx squared, or x squared y. It doesn't matter the order as long as you get the exponents correctly, you know, because 2x squared y is the same as 2yx squared. These two are exactly the same. But if I put the square there and the x doesn't have an exponent, then they're not equal anymore, because the x here has a square and the x here doesn't, so that makes them unequal. All right. Let's go back to the question. Now, that's negative 2x squared y, and then this will give me negative 2y times positive y squared will be negative, a sign changer, 2y cubed. Now I'm going to look for like terms. You know what? I don't have any like terms here. If you're thinking these are like terms, as I said, they're not, because the x here has a 1 and the x here has a 2 on top of it. So that makes them not like terms. So in here, we don't have any like terms. The x and the y here, both of them have 1, 1, and here the y has a 2, and here the x has a 2. So that doesn't make them like terms. You might argue, oh, there's a cube there and there's a cube there. Well, this is an x and this is a y, so they're not like terms. Okay, so now we're going to go to this one here. 5xy, we're just going to write it as 5xy. It's not affecting anything. Again, this is a loner, so it's just going to stay like this. But this negative 3y has to be distributed into the brackets, because if I write something before the brackets like this, it has to be distributed into that. So that's going to give me negative 6xy. I like to write them in the alphabetical order. Yx and xy are the same thing, though. Negative 3y times negative y, that's going to become positive 3y squared. Now here, plus 7x times 8y is just plus 56xy, and plus 7x times negative x is just going to be negative 7x squared, plus 9 times x squared is just 9x squared. 9 times negative 2y squared is just negative 18y squared. Like terms, this, and also these are like terms, and then the hat is on the y squared. So 5 minus 6 is negative 1. Negative 1 plus 56 is 55xy. So 55xy. The 3y squared minus 18y squared is negative 15y squared. And then negative 7x squared plus 9x squared is plus 2x squared. Now, the order that you write these n doesn't matter. You could write them in any order you wish. So you could rewrite these as 2x squared, for instance, plus 55xy minus 15y squared if you wish, and that's fine as well. Okay, or you write as a negative 15y squared plus 50xy plus 2x squared, and that's fine as well. Okay, so it doesn't matter. These two are correct. Here I'm just changing the order, but you don't have to do that. I'm just trying to explain to you, it doesn't matter what order you put these in, as long as the sign stays the same. So the 15y squared has a negative in front of it, so you make sure it's a negative in front of it. And why the order doesn't matter, because, you know, 3 plus 7 minus 5, if you write this as negative 5 plus 3 plus 7, or any order, as long as you keep the signs, you still get the same answer. 3 plus 7 is 10, minus 5 is 5. And -5 plus 3 is -2. -2 plus 7 is 5. So you see, both of them give you the same answer, and that's why the order doesn't matter. Now, I hope I'm not rushing. Here, we have too many brackets. We have brackets here, square brackets, and then we have brackets inside the squared brackets. So always work on the inside first. So here, what you want to do, you want to go 5, square bracket. This bracket right here serves no purpose. So I'm just going to write it as 3p plus 7, and then the minus 4q. We don't have anything in here in front that's going to change anything in here. So, and that's what that is, plus 2. And also here, these brackets don't have anything in here in front of them, so they serve no purpose. So they might as well just wrote them as 7p minus 3 plus q. Now, this 5 has to be distributed into here, into there, and into there. So 5 times 3p is 15p. And 5 times 7 is 35, so plus 35. 5 times -4q is minus 20q. Plus 2 times 7p is 14p. And 2 times -3 is just -6. And 2 times positive q is just plus 2q. Like terms, this and this cannot use the same line. So here we're going to have a wiggly line on this and this because they're constants. And here we're going to have the hat on this. So 15p plus 14p is 29p. And 35 minus 6 is plus 29. And -20q plus 2q is -18q. And that's that. The last question for this evening is this one right here. This one, we have a monomial in front of brackets, and we have brackets inside the brackets. So we're going to start off by rewriting this as 3x with the square bracket. Here we're going to have x in here. Don't go x minus 4x here because you cannot do that. Multiplication always have to be done first. So this is when you have brackets, you have this and you have brackets. It means this is multiplied inside the bracket. So you have to distribute this into here and into there. So -4x times y is -4xy. As -4x times -4 is plus 16x. Close the square bracket. Now this has to be distributed inside as well. So we're going to get -2x cubed, because 2x squared times x is 2x cubed. Negative times negative is plus 2x squared times 2y is just going to be 4x squared y. And then negative times positive is negative. 2x squared times 3 is just 6x squared. This here, I'm going to collect like terms on the inside. So I'm just going to rewrite this as 3x. And I could change that square bracket to round bracket if I wish, or keep it square bracket. X plus 16x is going to be 17x, because these are like terms right here. So I'm just going to collect them inside the bracket. And then minus 4xy brackets. And then we're just going to write this the same way we have them there. It's 2x squared plus 4x squared y minus 6x squared. And then I'm going to distribute that into here and into there. So I'm going to have 23 times 17. So that's 21. 3 times 1, 50. 1x squared. 3x times -4xy, we're going to get -12. X times x is x squared, and the y doesn't have anything that we're multiplying it by, so it just stays like this. And after that, we have -2x squared, which is that, plus 4x squared y minus 6x. Now, like terms is this, and this, and then this, and this, and this is a loner, so just gonna stay. Oh, wow, hold on a second. Sorry, I forgot to write the square on top of here, so that's a square in there. So let me put a square on top of here. And therefore, these here, this and this and this are like terms. So good, because we don't have a lot of room to write a lot of things. So 51 minus 2 is 49. 49 minus 6 is 43. X squared. And then negative 12 plus 4 is negative 8x squared y. So minus 8x squared y. And this is it. We'll continue with polynomials for quite some time. So just stay tuned for the next video on polynomials. So as I promised, I will continue the Math 10 series till we finish with Math 10. And then either I'll be moving to Math 9 or Math 11. I think Math 11 right now is more urgent. So as soon as I finish Math 10, I'll upload Math 11 for students who will be taking Math 11 next semester. So hopefully I could get there and finish all of that by February or so. So keep on supporting. Don't forget to hit that like button, comment if you have time, but most importantly, subscribe to my channel because your support goes a long way. As always, thanks for watching. Till next time, bye-bye.